Good evening, internets. It's time for me to go live, and I'm DP Knudten, and this is BOOKWARD BOUND, 301 days from I should really do this to done. And what am I talking about getting done? A brand new book by January 1st, 2021. The goal is, on that very day, I'm going to have press-ready PDF files to upload to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform so that I can self-publish my own new book that is called NONFICTION BRAND, Discovering, Crafting, and Communicating the Completely True, Completely You brand you already are. Yep, that's what it's called. Sorry, get to the right camera. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just going on to, and I'll actually show you. Over here, I'm going on to my YouTube channel because I never pay attention to the numbers of stuff. Like, for instance, right now, as you can see on screen, the Nonfiction Brand podcast is on episode 92. Well, this is the... Bear with me while I look it up. Okay, yesterday, as I suspected, was episode 84 of BOOKWARD BOUND. Well, this, my friends, that means this, my friends, is episode 85 of BOOKWARD BOUND. Let me pull up the title there again. 301 days from I should really do this to done. So that's really cool. I mean, 85, this is 85 consecutive days that I'm coming up, getting down in my office, sitting in my chair, looking into a camera, and talking about actually creating a brand new book in time for the turn of the new year. Well, that's certainly the go. Hold on. I'm just going to open up Restream chat. Just in case any of you guys want to talk to me, you can via Restream chat. Just type in the comment box on your screen, a question, a comment, whatever, and I'll see it pop up on my screen and be able to interact with you. So I would love to encourage you to do that because I don't mind distractions. However, the goal of going live every single night for 85 consecutive days as of today is that I continue to progress my book forward. The fact is, unless you are some type of superhuman, writing a book is a very laborious, very fragmentary thing that occurs over a period of time and ultimately takes a lot of focus, but in small bits over a longer period of time. So when I started this little journey, I hate that word, but yeah, it is a journey, on March 5th, 2020, what I wanted to do was have a book ready for publication, not necessarily published, but ready for publication by January 1st, 2021. So what I did was I looked up the number of days between January 5th and December 31st, 2020, and it ended up to be 301 days left in the year. So since then, every single flippin' night I've been down here working on the book in one form or another so that I can, in fact, have those press-ready files ready for uploading on January 1st, 2021. And believe me, that day, some champagne will be popped, will be uncorked to celebrate, because writing a book is a pain in the butt. But enough about me bitching about that. Instead, let's get to actually doing something. And so what you see before you is an application called Scrivener that I use and a ton of people use to actually write books. And over here, you'll see on the side here a whole bunch of different sections within the book. And I've color-coded mine so that red means, dude, hold on, dude, you haven't written anything in this section yet. Yellow means, wow, you've written quite a bit. Have you gone through it with a fine-tooth comb and finished it? And the answer is not yet. And then blue means, yeah, this is pretty much done, but not finally edited or spell checked or grammar checked and all that stuff. So why don't you do that next? When that's done, it will go from a blue flag to a green flag. The green flag means all systems go. You'll notice none of these book sections have a green flag, and many of them, right there, are red. I got a lot of writing to do. But tonight, I think I'm going to focus on your expertise, this section. And what I want to do is I want to read through it. I want to go through it. I want to look for misspellings or ungrammatical stuff or repetition, you know, all that stuff that Grammarly does for you. I don't want to be mean, and I don't want to pick on anybody who has to depend on Grammarly to create a cogent document. But I refuse to let our AI overlords dictate what I as a writer write or publish. So I'm doing it my way, and I'm breaking rules, and I'm bending rules, and I'm pretending rules don't exist all throughout this book because it's going to be in my voice. And my voice is mine. And that's the cool thing about self-publishing. Nobody's telling you what you can or can't do. And so we progress and go on. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to start up here at the very top. Focus on your expertise. I think I need to do a long dash. My favorite form of punctuation is a long dash, which on a Macintosh computer or a Mac OS system computer is Option-Shift-Dash to get that beautiful long dash. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's sexy. And now I'm going to read through this thing a little bit at a time and see how it flows. And this is actually one of my big tricks, and it's not exactly unique, but I will say this. I love very vocal reading copy, meaning it should sound like someone's speaking. Consequently, I read this stuff aloud to find out where I trip up, because where I trip up is like a perfect correlation with stuff that needs to be ironed out and simplified a little bit. A lot of, okay, some of you may know that my degree, my undergraduate degree was in theater. I went to get a Master of Fine Arts degree at the University of Southern California, but instead of an MBA, I got a DNF, did not finish. Sorry. But I've always looked at the written word as something to be spoken, which is why I love me some William Shakespeare. That dude, brilliant, poetic, and really, really good when it comes to rhythm and tempo and style and tone and everything else. So if I have a fault, it's that my copy is going to be more verbal than it is written. So bear with me as I read through this and look for areas I want to correct. The concept of personal branding is sound, but I think the way some people practice it feels a little bit icky to some, and for good reasons. Think about the typical follow your dreams, inspirational quote posting guru wannabe on any of the popular social media channels out there. Or the dude flaunting his late model testosterone-fueled roadster. I actually want to covered in fat stacks of cash. And so let's go back up. Think about the typical follow your dreams, inspirational quote posting guru wannabe on any of the popular social media channels out there. or the dude flaunting his late model testosterone-fueled roadster covered in fat stacks of cash? And what about the 10 ways to millions beach house owning 20-something-year-olds, beach house owning, 20-something that got it all by following these amazing hacks that'll get you, I can't do fat stacks of cash, that'll get you, how about a bunch of Benjis? Big bunch of Benjis. Fast. Okay, so let me read that aloud. And what about the 10 ways to millions beach house owning 20-something that got it all by following these amazing hacks that'll get you a big bunch of Benjis fast? Do you see how I didn't stagger or stumble or hit any obstacles in that sentence? It's because it fits my mouth. Let's not go there. Worst of all, the fake it till you make it perma smilers. That's what I want. Worst of all, the fake it till you make it perma smiler who is just ripping off other people's ideas and presenting them as their own. Oh, I hate those guys. Fact is, all of the above aren't personal brands. They're good old American carnival barkers and snake oil salesmen. While some may attain some level of fame and name recognition, in reality, they are no better than fly-by-night flim-flam artists. They give personal branding a bad image and an even worse name. Like that. How you can be sure you'll never be one of them? By being something they can never be. Yourself. That's pithy, baby. That is pithy. There's just so much repetitive and redundant conventional wisdom floating around social media comma, there needs, and by the way, I use punctuation like a musician marks phrasing or breathing on their score. You know, I want you to pause. That actually, there is so much conventional wisdom floating around social media that actually finding something of value is like digging through a pile of dirt. Not or dirt. Of dirt, or worse, looking for the occasional grain of gold. My social media feeds are full of the same people slinging so much of the same slush back and forth that when I do run across someone who has a well-considered opinion that's backed by data and reinforced by links to other smart people, I literally cherish the poster. I immediately cherish the poster. I'm going to say person posting. I immediately posting and add them to my list of trusted and preferred human beings. They provided value. They came off as human, and they created a distinct image in my mind, earning a spot in my life. Such people are rare and precious, prized and passed on to others, and enthusiastically passed on to others that appreciate the finer things online. I love that play on words. The finer things of life? No, the finer things online. Ooh. Yeah, sorry. You got to go there sometimes. These are the personal brands I'm writing about, and the personal brand I want you to discover, craft, and communicate for yourself. How on earth can you do that? By sharing a unique expertise, by sharing a unique expertise based solely on your hyper-specific experience. Experience and expertise are two words that not only share a great many letters in common, they are inextricably conjoined from the very start. Through your experience, you develop expertise. And the quality of your, not you expertise, your expertise is founded upon the extent and rigor of your experience. Another way, is that 2 spaces? No, only 1. By the way, no more 2 spaces after a period. This was beaten into me by a guy named Kent Flora, who was a art director I worked with at my very first job at Pearson Hawkins, Heinz Barton Pearson Hawkins, that became Pearson Hawkins Advertising in Denver. He came into me one day and said, "You do not have to have 2 spaces after a period. This is typesetting, not typing." Whoa, Kent, put the guns away. But I learned that lesson. No 2 spaces after a period. It's period, 1 space, next line. Why? Because the periods are already kerned and the spaces are already kerned, optimized for reading correctly. You don't need 2 spaces. Get over the 2 spaces. Another way to look at your experience is where you've worked. Another way to look at it is, comma. See, a comma just causes you to pause. Another way to look at it is your experience is where you've worked and what you've done. And your expertise is the toolbox of capabilities you developed along the way. In episode 92 of my Nonfiction Brand podcast, my special guest, I don't need to say my twice, special guest Matt Barnett, founder and Papa Bear of Bonjoro, read more about his company later in the book, and I had a fascinating conversation that revolved around experience and expertise, with a heaping helping of personal brand folded in. You can tell a lot about the guy by looking at his about statement on LinkedIn. Quote, "My love of building great products is only surpassed by that building. My love of building great products is only surpassed by that of building great culture." Not my phrasing, it's his. I'm keeping it because I'm quoting him. Okay, just take a listen to the 2 episodes in which he's my guest, and you'll find out that about line isn't just lip service. It's one of the foundational pillars of his company, Bonjoro.com. In episode 92, he tells the story of Ollie, Bonjoro's chief marketing officer. I don't know how Matt and Ollie met, but I do know it was when they were both 4 years old in the UK. Fast forward 20-some years later, and Ollie, Oliver Bridge, is now CMO of Matt's growing business, comma. Matt's growing business. I'm going to start a new sentence. Not because of his resume or CV, but because of the relationship the two developed between the ages of 7 and 11. Is it 7 or 11? Because it's literally developed. Way back as wee boys. Matt said it best in the podcast. We hire culture first. We tend to talk to people before we kind of look at their skill set. I don't really care too much about CVs. I don't really care about what university you've been to or what school. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't particularly care about where you've worked if you can do your job. If you can do your job. I don't care where you worked, period. If you can do your job, comma, it doesn't really matter to me. But what I do care about is do you fit our culture? Will you fit with us? It's amazing. It's amazing, comma, people who are just not right for our culture. Do you see what he's saying there? That the endless pursuit of resume padding has little to do with whether you get hired or not. If you listen to the episode, you'll also hear, spelled incorrectly, the wrong form of hear, thank you, H-E-A-R, him say that he keeps a casual but serious list of around 100 people that he's dying to bring into his business whenever the time is right. When I asked him how he met or discovered these people, online, in person, via friends, etc., his answer was all of those things. And if you ask me, all of those things are directly tied to creating a personal brand based on your reputation and personality, as demonstrated your reputation, personality, and unique skill set as demonstrated publicly via any number of channels, not the least of which is your personal network. Given all that, ask yourself this question. Do your friends, family, colleagues, current customers, and potential clients know how to describe who you are, what you do, and how you do it? If not, you need to arm them with that information so that when they run into a Matt Barnett type, they can advocate for you should the time be right. Are you confident they can? That's why you need to codify your personal brand. And what's that personal brand based on? I'm going to hit that with the expertise you acquire through your experience. And again, I'm using these italics just to give those words, because I'm playing with them back and forth a little bit of something. So people go, oh, I should pay attention to this. The expertise you acquired throughout your experience. And again, as an actor, stuff like that, these are the cues actors look for which word do you want me to hit hard? Because that's the one that actually conveys the meaning of the sentence. This is why you should write like it's coming out of your mouth. All right. The biggest advice writers ever get or give is simple. Write what you know. That writerly advice is right on the money and applies perfectly to personal branding too. But keep in mind, experience and expertise are two different things, and I can prove it. Let's say you're a project manager. Let's give it a new paragraph. Let's say you're a project manager whose employment background has always been in the architecture, engineering, contracting sector. Or is it construction? It's construction. I need to look that up. I just assume AEC. Hold on. Atomic energy commission, I don't think so. AC, architecture. Come on. Architecture, engineering, construction. Oh, I'm glad I looked that up. Architecture, engineering. Architecture, engineering, construction. Yep. So I'm good there. Architecture, engineering, and construction. Sector. Experience would dictate. Okay, let's go back. Let's say you're a project manager whose employment background has always been in the architecture, engineering, construction sector. Experience would dictate that the only things you are truly expert in are related to the designing and building of structures, buildings, structures and facilities. Structures, let's just say, get buildings out of there because we've got building in there. Structures and facilities. But the expertise you've developed over your career spans a much broader group of subject areas. Things like team building, group communications, comprehensive planning, and quite possibly deep experience in specific project management concepts and systems like Agile, Scrum, or Kanban. Were you to focus solely on your experience, you might find yourself painted into an AEC corner. But if you broaden your sights to focus on the much larger topic of project management, you could increase the number of the relevant subjects you might talk about, and also greatly increase the size of your potential audience of readers, viewers, and or listeners. After all, project managers deal in everything from software to hardware, from apps to apartments. Being able to speak project manager includes a whole lot more people than those speaking the sub-dialect of AEC, project manager. I think I can get rid of these. I can just go AEC. I kind of like it better the other way, though, with the slashes in there. I think it looks better. This concept of sharing what you know also keeps you from doing what way too many personal brand-oriented newbies do. Overgeneralization with a tendency to spout conventional wisdom, missing an N, instead of hard and personally earned insight. And personally earned insight. You ever notice how trendy those inspirational posts on Instagram, Facebook, and even LinkedIn are? Yep. Here's an example. Imposter syndrome. It's a real thing and worth talking about. I've even touched on it in this book, but what I'm really talking about was a while back when out of the blue, suddenly everybody was doing a blog post, video, or live stream about the subject. It's like we all saw the same TED Talk at the same time and decided to riff off something we actually know little about, but want to jump, but we actually know nothing about. I think I'd just leave it there. We know little about. Sometimes it's better to delete. Yes, there are experts who undoubtedly have some great information and insight to share, but every passing poster with a keyboard who just read about the subject, spend some time on it, come up with your own ideas about it, and then maybe consider sharing your 2 cents about it. I'm going to give that italic, and then maybe consider. Why not instead go deep on something you actually have expertise in, like the completely improbable pop culture phenomenon known as Brené Brown? Don't know her? Don't worry. I've written about her in a section in this book called MD, CPA, PhD, EIEIO. She's an expert in shame, having done great scholarly research into the topic. Now, who could possibly be interested in learning what she's discovered about shame? Funny enough. Not interesting, because I've got interested right before that. Oddly enough, the entire thinking world, apparently. Read more about her, check out her TED Talks, and you'll understand why her laser focus on what she knows in great depth has earned her the respect of millions and a major cameo role playing herself in the 2019 Amy Poehler-helmed Netflix comedy Wine Country, and an entire 2019 Netflix documentary about her called Brene Brown, The Call to Courage. I need to sum this up. Pretty. Shame is her niche. And boy, how she's been able to capitalize on it. Write what you know. Share what you've learned. Teach your completely true, completely you expertise. There are enough people creating conventional wisdom, inspirational quote graphics. There are already enough people creating conventional wisdom, inspirational quote graphics. We don't need any more of those. I'm going to hit that with a little italic. Bada bang. Guess what? This is the first section that I feel comfortable, but I will read it later again. Because here's the thing. You need fresh eyes on any section of the book. And if those eyes have to be yours, you have to sleep, wake up, and read it again. I guarantee you, absolutely guarantee you'll find mistakes. However, I'm feeling good about this right now. So this is the first section that has earned a green flag. Yeah, so let me see. Is it going to change my recents now to include greens? Oop, change icon. Okay, green. Good. They're all there. So it's got a green flag. Yay! I've progressed my book significantly forward, even though it's a Friday night and I really don't feel like doing this. But that's why I'm doing this Bookward Bound thing. If it were up to me, I'd still be upstairs with my wife and kids watching some dumbass movie on Netflix or something. But instead, I've made a commitment to you, gentle reader, and to myself to actually get this thing done. And I am really, really proud of myself to say that this is day 85, the 85th consecutive daily live stream, moving my book forward in one form or another. And a big part of that is due to you. I don't know who you are. I see one person is watching. I don't know who that one person is. By the way, if you're watching, just type your name in the comment box so I can say thank you. I won't even say it in front of anybody else, but I'll just say it in my heart to you. So it really does. Seriously, just looking down, and I've got a little icon indicator that shows me, oh, one person's watching or two people are watching. That's all I need. I don't need a big audience, because if I did, I wouldn't be doing this. I just need to know someone cares. And sometimes that's only me. But it's really cool when it's somebody like you. So thank you. Prayer hands and everything. Thank you. I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast, which comes out every Monday. And the cool thing is tomorrow is Saturday. And Saturday means one thing for me. Well, typically two. One, edit the podcast so that you have a new one ready for premiering on Monday. And it's going to be a really fun episode with Dana Sanchez, someone I met at Social Media Marketing World in March. And we hit it off. We met for 5 minutes and decided we liked each other. And then we had a 3-hour conversation that somehow I'm going to have to edit down to 2 25-minute episodes. Will I be able to do that? You'll only be able to know by subscribing, liking, referring, and reviewing the Nonfiction Brand podcast to people who like interesting conversations about getting off your butt and taking credit for what you actually do in your life. So anyway, that comes out on Monday, and I'll be editing it tomorrow. The other thing I do on Saturdays typically is, if it's summer, I'm going to mow the lawn. Now, I mowed it on Wednesday, but it's already looking really tall again, so I might have to do it again. We'll see. But I will be back tomorrow night for episode 86. Can you believe it? Of this. So I need your help to keep me honest. Please do. Again, as I said, I'm DP Knudten. Check out the Nonfiction Brand podcast, and I will see you tomorrow. Until then, theme music. Take us on out. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.